Jurassic World Rebirth is tearing up the box office at the global cinemas right now. But whilst it may be doing extremely well, much better than we anticipated, there are certainly some problems with the movie. Hello everyone and welcome back to a new Jurassic World Rebirth video. In today's video, I basically just want to go over not just my own issues for Jurassic World Rebirth, but some issues that I feel as though would make the movie a lot better. I understand there are many more issues with the movie to begin with. Some people are absolutely hating it, some people are also loving the movie, so I don't want to get too negative into it. For me personally, I'm kind of split down the middle. I'm more on the 60 to 70% range, finding the movie more enjoyable, but I certainly have my problems with it, and I can't help but watch the movie and see so much more potential that was just not in the movie. So for today, I'm going to be explaining what I think will make Jurassic World Rebirth a much better movie. Don't worry, it's not going to be comments such as, oh, they should have added this dinosaur, they should have done this. These are actually logical reasons that I believe would have made Jurassic World Rebirth much better. Again, these are my own personal irks, but I do see a few people online also discuss them as well, but these are things that I feel as though are very important. So if you're excited for today's video, go ahead and leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here for your daily dose of Jurassic content here on YouTube. But for now, let's get into how to make Jurassic World Rebirth a much better movie. So Jurassic World Rebirth was a very strange movie to have when you look at the wider picture of Jurassic. It was one movie that we kind of had to go in expecting it to be part of an expanded universe, but also a movie that had to be treated as a solo movie. The director Gareth Edwards has also come out to mention the exact same thing. You have to treat it like a solo movie, and you certainly see that throughout it. But it really didn't need to be as solo as it was. For me personally, I was 100% expecting it to be a new story to start in this franchise. And honestly, once I sat down, I was very excited to watch the movie. I knew that this was going to be a solo movie, but I was not expecting it to be in the way that it was. So the very first thing that I think that needs to be done for a rewrite for Jurassic World Rebirth to make it better would be to not write the franchise into a corner. Don't get me wrong, David Koepp did a fantastic job on Jurassic Park and the Lost World Jurassic Park. But ever since then, his movies haven't exactly been the best written. Unfortunately, Jurassic World Rebirth falls short as well. So what do I mean about writing the franchise into a corner? Well, look at the end of Jurassic World Rebirth. Where exactly do you go from here? Like, yes, there are some points to be made, but at the same time, I feel as though there are better opportunities. And this isn't me just shitting on solo stories in Jurassic. Solo stories can absolutely work within this world, but solo movies in Jurassic can only work if you don't create a wider picture. For example, if you go ahead and write a solo movie about how some people have to deal with dinosaurs killing their cattle on the ranch, which personally we've already made on the channel as well, so I highly recommend to go and check out that audiobook. Within my creation, I decided to not talk about the wider story, because I feel as though if it is a solo movie, the wider story is already there. People already know about it. But Jurassic World Rebirth, for some reason, decided to make an explanation about why they needed to go to the island by killing off most of the dinosaurs. Firstly, that retcons the endothermic reactions that these dinosaurs have. They are proven to be able to live in any climate across the world. So to say that they're dying off because of the climate just is ridiculous to say considering what's already established in the lore. But furthermore, it just writes this franchise into a corner. Like, you know, this is an expanded universe now. You cannot just create these dinosaurs to become isolated once again. It's done. We've opened Pandora's box. Dinosaurs are everywhere. Let that be. You don't need to keep killing them off just to explain one small detail in the movie. Like, think of it like this. The whole plot of Jurassic World Rebirth would not change if they just said that these specific species they are looking for reside on this island. That's it. That's all they needed to do. They didn't need to say that the dinosaurs are dying off and then migrate into the equatorial regions. They don't need to do anything like that. They don't need to explain that. They could just say that the dinosaurs are starting to go into more nature and they aren't exploring the world. That way you can still keep these dinosaurs isolated and not just diseases running across rampant in the cities of New York or something. And you can still have the same story of Jurassic World Rebirth. But unfortunately, the way that Rebirth was written with that specific plot detail, it kind of writes this franchise into a corner and leaves barely any room to explore further into the future. Yes, I am aware there are some people who don't want to watch Jurassic movies anymore or asking for the franchise to die, but this is an expanded movie universe now. This isn't just a franchise. This is much bigger than a franchise. Look at Marvel, look at DC, look at Star Wars. They all are expanded universes, and that's exactly what Jurassic is as well at the end of the day. Whether you like it or hate it, That's the pure fact, that's what it is. So to kind of make it so isolated and abrupt, I would have definitely removed, or at least reconsidered, how they would have adapted and approached that story. The very next thing I want to talk about is embracing what came before it. I don't know about you guys, but whilst watching Jurassic World Rebirth, it just felt as though they were kind of embarrassed about the movies that came before it, the Jurassic World trilogy to be specific. I feel as though that some of the words that were used in the movie felt as though they just wanted to ignore what happened before it, aka Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion. For example, for some reason, Martin Krebs decided to call them engineered entertainments, when we all know that they are actually hybrid dinosaurs, but he just didn't want to say the word hybrid on screen because the scriptwriter probably thought, oh, hybrids are bad because people didn't like the hybrids in Jurassic World. It just felt like this movie was written in a way that was just very ashamed of Jurassic World's trilogy. I understand not everyone likes Jurassic World Dominion, but that doesn't mean that you should ignore it. Even the people who didn't like Dominion and are actually logically thinking, they would say the same thing. You know, you can't just go ahead and ignore a big factor, a big movie that happened for this franchise. That's a huge turning point. The whole point of Jurassic World Dominion that many people seem to have missed was the fact that it was supposed to set up future installments of the franchise and did that perfectly. I discussed this in one of my initial concerns about this time last year for Jurassic World Rebirth, is the fact that they decided to go down a really weird route. Dominion opened up many possibilities for this franchise, but for some reason one of the worst options after Dominion was selected. I don't know why they did that, but it just feels like they were so ashamed of what came before it. Jurassic World Rebirth had a great opportunity here to make Jurassic World Dominion better for those who didn't like the movie. Take a look at Jurassic World Chaos Theory, for example. They finally got onto season 3 and they coincide with the events of Jurassic World Dominion and ultimately made that movie better for people who didn't like it. Maybe it didn't make Dominion the best movie ever made, but it still made people enjoy or respect Dominion just that little bit more. Why didn't Jurassic World Rebirth do the same thing? Ironically, even Jurassic World Rebirth being created went against Jurassic World Chaos Theory, which also makes me think, what's the point in watching season 4 when we kind of already know what's going to happen to these dinosaurs in the long run? So, honestly speaking, Jurassic World Rebirth had a great opportunity to make Jurassic World Dominion better for those who didn't like it, and for some reason decided not to go down that route, but instead feel ashamed of it. Like, I just don't understand. Why would you ignore it when you had an opportunity to make it better, but instead you made it worse somehow? Like, for me personally, I really enjoyed Jurassic World Dominion, but after watching Jurassic World Rebirth, I don't see Dominion as good as I originally did. And that's not even Dominion's fault, that's Rebirth's fault, which is very weird to even think about or even say. So that is one thing I would certainly change. Do not let Jurassic World Rebirth be ashamed of where it came from. And the next thing I have written on this list is that they should have really explored the facility on Isla Saint-Hubert just a little bit more, rather than just saying, hey look, it's another island. We've done that before. We've done that 3 times before Jurassic World Rebirth with Isla Nublar, Isla Sorna, and Manticore Island. Now we have Isla Saint-Hubert, which just seems to be the 4th new island that we didn't previously know about. So this movie really needed to stand out. But unfortunately, it didn't do that. It was more about the dinosaurs and getting the DNA from the dinosaurs, rather than exploring why exactly there was a facility there. And I mean, sure, you don't really need to make that the key point of the whole plot, but give it a bit more exposition. We barely got to know anything about it, and it's a big deal in the timeline. This is a lot of detail to suddenly be added. And the only exposition we got was just a brief discussion on the beach with Martin Krebs discussing the island and what exactly it is. And that's all we got. We didn't get anything further from that. So if we at least got a little bit more exposition about what exactly Isla Saint-Hubert is, I feel as though that would actually have made the movie a little bit more interesting, because it definitely lacked that interesting factor. It had a bit of a mystery behind it, but not enough for us to be interested in it. So I feel as though they should have rewritten it in a sense to make the facility a little bit more important to the plot. Otherwise, this plot could have been exactly the same and would have made a lot more logical sense if it was just built on Manticore Island. Now, I know there are some people out there who don't like the idea of Camp Cretaceous being brought onto the main screen, and also the fact that it is seasons 4 and 5 of Camp Cretaceous, which definitely weren't the best. But again, This was a great way to make Camp Cretaceous Seasons 4 and 5 just that little bit better. If you were to make all of this island and the whole story on Manticore Island instead, that makes a lot more logical sense than just adding in Isla Saint-Hubert. Biosyn already know about Manticore Island. There's loads of technology on there. There's loads of creatures already on there as well. It just makes logical sense to rebrand Isla Saint-Hubert to Manticore Island, or at least make it Manticore Island, because that's not the official name in canon, in universe. But that also then brings me on to my next point. Make these facilities on Isla Saint-Hubert Biosyn facilities and not InGen facilities. Again, it feels like they're just ignoring a really big detail from Jurassic World Dominion with Biosyn collapsing because of what it was doing. That's such a big plot detail in the whole timeline. But quite literally just replacing the stickers from InGen to Biosyn would have avoided so much confusion in the timeline. With InGen, we kind of know nearly exactly everything that they were doing and what is logical and possible and what isn't. And Isla Saint-Hubert falls more into the category of not quite being possible. It does make sense, you can make it make sense, but it requires a lot of thinking outside of the box. There's a lot of lore and information that needs explaining for Isla Saint-Hubert to be owned by InGen. But if we were to make it Biosyns, there's not a lot of explaining that needs to be added. For example, with InGen, why wasn't Dr. Wu working with these projects? Why was Masrani so preoccupied to not kill the Indominus Rex even though it cost $26 million when the mutants cost $76 million? And how on earth were they transporting dinosaurs from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean? A lot of it just doesn't make any sense, and it requires a lot of thinking and a lot of lore adaptation to make it make sense. But again, just making it Biosyn's facility, it avoids all of this complication. Biosyn has already been frowned upon since Jurassic World Dominion, and it was a big deal about what happened in that movie. This leaves it as a perfect chance to explore the sick experiments of Biosyn before their downfall. We can explore the stuff and the dinosaurs that they tried to create in secret, and it actually explains why they are failures, why they are mutant dinosaurs. Because in the history of Biosyn, since the very first movie, they've always tried to replicate InGen's work, because they don't have the facilities or the capabilities to do so. But every time they have done so, it's not been as good. It's such a small and simple change that makes a lot of sense, and it actually doesn't conflict with the established lore whatsoever, since we barely know what happens to Biosyn between the years of 1999 and 2013. So literally, just simply replacing the stickers from InGen to Biosyn would have actually made this movie a lot more interesting and much better in my opinion. So there we have it. I know I rambled a lot in this video, but I really wanted to get a few things off my chest. This isn't everything. I know there are other ways to make Jurassic World Rebirth a much better movie, and I know not everyone is going to agree with these, but personally speaking, I feel as though there's a better movie here if we were to literally make Manticore Island the new Isla Saint-Hubert, and then make the InGen stickers Biosyn stickers instead, and at least record what happened before Jurassic World Rebirth. Don't go into it just retconning thing after thing after thing. Jurassic World Rebirth really missed a good opportunity here by just making Jurassic World Dominion better for those who didn't enjoy it. And instead of just writing off Jurassic World Chaos Theory with Season 4 to come in November, by the way, they just didn't need to do that. They didn't need to kill off all of these dinosaurs. So I am very disappointed with the way that Jurassic World Rebirth was written. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed it for a solo movie. When you kind of move your mind away from the issues of the movie, it's rather enjoyable. But the wider aspect of Jurassic World Rebirth could have been so much better, and I feel as though this was the best way to make Jurassic World Rebirth better for all kinds of audiences. If you enjoyed today's video, why not leave a like? And if you agreed with any of the points I made in today's video as well, head on down to the comments and let me know. But if you have nothing to say, at least comment a dinosaur emoji for the sake of engagement. Don't forget to subscribe here for your daily dose of Jurassic content on YouTube, but most importantly, make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hey, did you enjoy the video? Well, why not leave a like and subscribe for more Jurassic content? I appreciate every single one of you for reaching this point into the video and supporting me this far. If you wish to support me even further, then feel free to head on down to the description where you can find links to donate, my Patreon, and you can also press that join button to become a member here on YouTube and gain access to some awesome emojis. A massive thank you to all of the YouTube members for this month, as well as the amazing fans over on Patreon too. Your extra bit of support really goes a long way. But for now, I wish you a great rest of your day.